Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my monthly reading report. In this video, I talk about my February reading wrap up. I do my reading journal updates. So I show you what my reading journal looks like with the additions of this month and favorite part, which is my book spreads. And I'm also going to be including a book haul for this month's video because I did do some shopping. If you're here for any of those three or all three, welcome. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're gonna start off with the reading wrap up. We're gonna talk about the books that I read this month, my thoughts, my reading, all that. So let's just get started with the wrap up. The first book that I read this month was actually Redeeming 6. This is book 4 in the Boys of Tommen series. Started the month strong with Joey and Eva's story. This book was so... I feel like any book in this series is so heavy and emotional. You probably will think it's just, oh, it's a high school romance, but it's way more than that. And Joey and Eva's story was so good. I still think about them 1 month later. I don't want to talk much about the plot and what happens in the book because spoilers if you haven't read the book or the series, and just because I feel like going into this book blind will surprise you more. After this, we have Taming 7, which I'm super excited about. Definitely will be in my next month's wrap up. This book was 4.5 stars for me. So close to 5 stars. I don't know, I just didn't get that 5-star feeling. Then I read my favorite book of the month, Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This book was so good. Last month's wrap up, my favorite book of the month was Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This month we have Deep End. Someone tell me, what am I gonna do with the rest of the months that have no Ali Hazelwood books? Because I read all her books. There is nothing new for me until the next release, which we just got an announcement for Mate. I need that. No, I need that. I need that book. There might be another book announcement. I'm hoping, hopefully there's another one between Mate and Deep End because I need another Ali Hazelwood book. But this one was 5 stars, if that's not obvious. College sports romance. He's a swimmer, she's a diver. It's a little bit forbidden romance just because he is her friend's ex. So Lucas was dating Penn and they're just not compatible. And Penn is actually like, hey, you two would be a perfect match for each other. So they're kind of laughing it off at first, but as they start hanging out and talking, getting to know each other, they're like, okay, maybe we are perfect for each other. Ali Hazelwood just knows how to write men. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Her men are top tier. So good. Lucas was perfection of a man. I'm still thinking about him. I'm not over him. I'm still at the restaurant. And this book might not be for everyone, but the girls that get it, get it. I think I'm gonna do a reread in March. I've never done a reread so quick, but I think this book needs it. So reread in March. Who's with me? Okay, then I read a novella, The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. This was a super quick novella. I did the audiobook and I really enjoyed it. This was 4 stars for me just because it was super fast, cute. It was what it was. It was a novella, and basically it's kind of close proximity between these two neighbors. So they are, I think, on the 2nd floor on their apartment complex, and they come out to their stairs missing, and they call management. They're like, we need to get down. They're like, oh, this was totally a mistake. We will pay for your hotel, whatever. Like, we will get you down. They can't get them fixed right now. And they're like, you know what? We're fine. We'll stay here. A weekend at home with no one to bother me. I mean, I would take it too. They start hanging out because they have nothing else to do. They start talking, they start hanging out in the like balcony area. They start having dinner and talking, and they just have this beautiful bonding moment and experience. It's a novella, it's a weekend, so it's super quick pacing. It has some depth to it. It's just not like fluffy. Something's going on with our main character. She actually has a stalker and she's very terrified. She has a lot of trauma because of that. So you kind of have that subplot of the stalker, and you also have the romance plot. Really interesting, and I really liked how it was all handled. The side characters, the main character's friends, were also a joy. I really enjoyed them. Overall, it was a super quick read. Would recommend. It was super cute, and I would love to see more of these characters in the future. Okay, then I read another favorite of the month, another 5-star read, Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. I personally love Sarah Adams. All of the books that I've read by her, I loved. I know I hear a lot of mixed reviews on her writing, but I personally, some people think it's too cheesy, too corny, but I eat it up every single time, and this might be my favorite book of hers to this day. Actually, Practice Makes Perfect is up there with this one. I related a lot to the characters in Practice Makes Perfect, but overall the romance and the plot in this book is just so good. Don't ask me to choose. But look at the tabbing in this book. I mean, a lot of underlining and highlighting in this book. I ate it up. This was 5 stars. This book is about Jack and Emily. They are very much rivals. They've always been competing with each other, always wanting to be better than the other. I love the way that Jack would match her energy. Now they are both teachers at the same elementary school, but Jack ends up moving away because he's getting married. All of a sudden, you hear that he's back. Even though he was her rival, she's kind of relieved that he's back, and she hears that he's not getting married. She feels some feelings and she's confused. He ends up moving next door to her, and he's like redoing his house, remodeling. Obviously close proximity, they're neighbors. She's fighting with him, he's fighting with her. She's telling him to be quiet when he's remodeling, and it's just the tension in this book, the banter, everything was so good. And Jack, hot. He rides a motorcycle, he wears glasses, he has tattoos. What is there not to love about this man? I did do a journal spread for this book. You guys will see it later on in this video. 5 stars. Did I mention that? Part of the When in Rome series. This is book 3, but completely standalone books. You don't have to read them in order. I would recommend, but you don't have to. I love the whole series, and if there's a next book, I hope there's a next book because I want it. I need it. Okay, then I read an arc, Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. This was so good. 4.5 stars. If you've read Savor It by Tara DeWitt, it takes place in the same small town, same characters. So this book is about Ren and Ellis. They were previously married. They have a child. He's going off to college. So they have been separated for a while. They've always been close because of their small town. His family is her family. They're just always together. And so I guess they've always had that close proximity, but they are off to drop off their kid to college. Ellis proposes a trip to kind of celebrate this, and honestly, he's trying to win her back. He proposes a trip to kind of test it out, see if there's any feelings, anything left over. She's kind of iffy about it, but she accepts. They go on this trip. They spend some time together. I guess they're just trying to rekindle that relationship. This book has so much depth to it. It was so beautiful. The writing was amazing. The characters were so good. The romance, everything was so good. This book is out now, so you can definitely go read it. I have always enjoyed Tara's writing, and this one was no exception. It's a second chance romance. I love second chance romance, but especially if it's a couple that has been married, or if it's like a marriage in distress. In this case, they're already separated. Just seeing them come back together was truly so beautiful. I would recommend if you're into second chance romances. They are a little bit older. They have a child in college. Definitely check that one out. Then we went to a completely new genre. We went with romantasy. This is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I've had this book on my TBR cart for years. Just now picked it up this year. It's a thick one, but it was really good. I gave this 3 stars, which don't let 3 stars throw you off. For me, that's didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was good. Sometimes I feel like my 3 stars could be higher depending on the time that I read it. And I think I was just not really into fantasy at the moment, but I read this book and I did have to audiobook a lot of it because it is so thick. The reason why I gave it 3 stars was because I felt like it was a little bit slow at times. I really enjoyed the romance. That was my favorite part. The plot, I feel like, could have been just more. Enemies to lovers. They're both kind of a little bit of betrayal and lies. She's kind of lying to him, not telling him the truth about who she is and what she's doing. And he's also kind of like he has his own agenda. A little bit of forbidden romance. Yeah, I don't know if I would read the second book. I know that this series gets a lot of love and hype. Right now at the moment, I don't feel the need to read the next book. I would want to just to kind of see how everything closes, but I think I would just have to do an audiobook. I don't think I could sit and read this book. If you've read the second book, tell me if it's worth it or not. Like, do I need to read the second book, or can I just read the first and move on? Okay, then I read Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was 4.5 stars. I went into this book completely blind. I would recommend, but if you're someone that needs to look up trigger warnings, definitely check the trigger warnings first. This book follows the romance of Elsie and Ben Porter. Emotional read. Definitely one of those books that brought out some tears. And I'm not one that cries a lot in books. It's very hard for me to cry with books. Give me a movie though, and I'm gonna need some tissues. But books, I don't know why. I feel the emotions, but the tears won't flow. But this one brought out some tears. This book starts off with an incident that happens, and the whole book revolves around that one incident. It's divided into present and past, before and after the incident. You just get to follow these characters before and after that incident. I don't know how much to say because I don't want to spoil and I don't want to tell you guys what happens. I don't know how to explain it. Okay, it starts off with the incident literally 6 pages into the book, and at first you're not really connected to these characters. You don't know anything about them, and so it didn't really hit me until I kept reading and got to know them and got connected with them and really got to know them. Then it started to hit, and by the time that we finished the book, it was so emotional. It was so emotional. All of these characters in this book, I had some feelings. I hated one of the characters, ended up loving them. I don't know, I would recommend this book, but it's definitely a more emotional read. I feel like all of Taylor Jenkins Reid books are similar in that way. They all kind of have that little bit of heartbreak. Go into this whenever you're ready for an emotional read. Okay, last but not least, I read First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I absolutely loved this book. 4.5 stars. First of all, I regret not annotating this book while I was reading it because it had so many good quotes, and it would be probably filled with tabs if I would have tabbed it as well, but I didn't, and I'm so mad at myself for not doing so. We'll probably have to reread this at some point and go in and do that. Lucy is a single mom. Aiden works at the radio station and he has like this romance programming. So Lucy's daughter calls in and is wanting to find her a date or a boyfriend. Lucy catches her, so she goes on the phone with Aiden. They have a little bit of a conversation, and the listeners love it. They call Lucy back and they want her to come on the program. Come on the show, we'll help you find a date. That's kind of the plot. They're trying to find her a boyfriend, a date, and Aiden is low-key, high-key falling in love with her because she's just so adorable. So he's falling in love with her. Lucy, she's a hopeless romantic. She wants magic. She wants it all. And Aiden has, I guess you could say, some trauma, but he is kind of not open to love. He just lost hope for it. His life is a little bit kind of dull and boring at the beginning of the book, but then he finds Lucy and he starts seeing the beauty and everything. I loved it because, like, what do you mean you're not open to love and then you find Lucy and now you're like head over heels for her? So cute. Just the little details. He's one of those book boyfriends that pays attention to the small details, things she mentions, things she says, things she doesn't even say. He pays attention. I want to say something he did, but it might be spoilery. I want you to find it out. He takes note of her favorite things. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like everyone could love this book. Also, side characters, I liked the daughter. I liked his friend. And I think there's gonna be a next book about his friend, which I kind of need. Absolutely recommend. That is all the books that I read in the month of February. I read 8 books total. I read some anticipated releases, new releases. I did an arc. I did some romantasy, sports, emotional, all types of romance. I think I had a really great month. I think this has been one of my favorite months, but it's the second month of the year, but I've had so much fun reading these books. But yeah, that is it for the portion of talking about the books that I read. Now let's talk about the books that I have bought in the month of February. Okay, they're not all with me because some of them are getting shipped. First book that I bought, the last book that I read in the month of February, I bought First Time Caller. This is the Walmart edition, so it is different than the normal paperback from Barnes & Noble, the pink one, which I really like the pink one, but I also really liked the purple, and it has like the foiling. I just thought it was different. You know, it's not the normal book. Okay, then I bought Deep End. This is the first edition print run, which has the edges art. It also has it in the back. I'm getting emotional thinking about them. I love them so much. The 3D water droplets. I'm not a fan of edges, but something about this book having the water does something to my brain. Speaking of Deep End, I did pre-order. I don't know what month I pre-ordered it in, but I got it delivered a couple days ago. And it's the special edition of Deep End from Owlcrate. This is my first impression with you guys. I opened it and I saw the front, but I haven't opened it until now. So we're gonna see the whole book together. This is the front cover. I'm obsessed. Look at the back. The edges are beautiful. There's artwork. He is so hot. He is so hot. Look at this man. Wow. Let's take off. No. It's a second cover. Oh my goodness. You're joking. No, like you're joking. The entire universe is here in his arms. This is absolutely stunning. This dust jacket is everything. Now this is a dust jacket. The book art, oh. Wait, the details are insane. I know this artist. I know this is Kristen. This is Kristen for sure. I love her character art. The amount of details in this book, worth every penny. This scene was everything. He's so pretty. If I ever meet Allie Hazelwood, I'm bringing this for her to sign. This needs to get signed. Letter from Allie, and it's signed. It's a foil signature. It's a digital letter, but I need to read this. I'm obsessed. This is my new prized possession, worth every penny. Okay, I need to display this on my special edition shelf. Front and center. I loved it. Every detail, every artist, everyone that took part in designing that, you need a bonus. You need a bonus because that is a special edition. Now I feel like all of these other books are just gonna be books, but we need to talk about them. I got Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. I've been wanting to read. I wanted the paperback copy, so I picked it up while I was at Sam's Club, because you know what? If you don't check out Sam's Club for books, you're missing out. This cover is just so cute, and I want to read this in March, so I had to pick it up. While I was also there, they also had this out a day early. I had to pick it up. This is the paperback of Funny Story, and these books are only this was $11.27. This was $11.98. Again, if you haven't checked out Sam's Club for books, I would. Then I went to an indie bookstore in my area. I went in there because I had to get rid of a lot of my books, and they buy your used books and give you credit. I took 2 big Barnes & Noble bags filled with books. They did have out some carts with new books, 30% off some new books, and I found 2 good ones. The Match by Sarah Adams. I haven't read this book. I love Sarah Adams. Definitely want to go in and read some of her older books. Then I saw Foxglove by Adeline Gray. So I have the other 3, but I was missing this one, and I saw it. I had to get it. I have 4 more books coming. I bought more Allie Hazelwood books. Why? Because I didn't own them. I've read most of them on my Kindle. So I have Check and Mate coming in the mail. These are all from Steamy Lit, and they're all signed editions. I do have Check and Mate already. It is bedazzled, but it was signed, and this is one of my favorite books by her. I need to stop saying that for every Allie Hazelwood book, but no, like actually Check and Mate I loved so much. I also bought Loath to Love You, which is her collection of novellas. I ordered Love on the Brain and Love Theoretically. The only book that I'm missing is gonna be Not in Love, which just happens to be one of my favorite books by her. Again, I need to stop using that phrase, but truly it is one of my favorite books by her. Which is my favorite book? Bride is my favorite. This one's like a paranormal romance, vampires, werewolves. Check and Mate is my favorite YA book of hers, and Not in Love, Deep End are my favorite adult romances. So yeah, they're all different, but I love them all. Those are all the books that I bought this month. 11 books. I don't typically buy this many books in a month. This was just a really good month for books. A lot of releases. Honestly, I just treated myself. Okay, now on to my reading journal for the month of February, all the updates that I did for it. This is my reading journal. I always link it in every video that I show my reading journal. I love this journal. It's more full length, kind of like a notebook, but not really that big. This is a typical reading journal. You can see the difference, and I really like the size because it gives me more space to create. Yeah, let's just get started. My first update is I did read 8 books in the month of February, just like in January. I did my reading log, which I'm not going to go into detail because you're going to see the books that I read, but I updated title, author, month read, and my readings. Then I have my bookshelf. I added the books that I read that month and color coded by reading format. Like this one was an audio and ebook, so I kind of did half and half just so I can know. I did read a couple more books from my 25 books to read in 2025. I accidentally put saving 6 when I created this spread, but it was supposed to be redeeming 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have my books bought page. I did buy a couple books this month. If my book shopping continues like this year, I'm not gonna have space because this is February. This is all the space I have left. My faves of the year, Deep End was my favorite book of February. My series tracker, I know I haven't done it and I really need to, so that will probably be in next month's video. Here's my calendar. This is what the calendar looks like for February. I just kind of like to see how long it takes me to read certain books. But now we're moving on to March, so I'll be doing it there. No rereads this month. And my Hall of Fame, this is for my 5-star reads. I had 2 this month. I had Deep End and Beg, Borrow, or Steal, so I put those there. Then we move on to my February spreads. I like to do a title page, and then here's my TBR. I like to glue the covers, and I'll go in and write the prompt that I got from the prompt jar. In some cases, I like to do like some personal picks, books that I kind of want to read that month. This month I added First Time Caller, Out of the Woods, and Deep End. I did only read 3 books for my TBR. Only 3 of them have a check mark. And then we move on to my wrap-up page. I like to see the titles in one place with the ratings, and then I do some little tropes or little thoughts about the book. This happens to me every month. Every time that I'm working on my reading journal, I always forget one book cover, and I swear every time that I'm putting together my page to print, I feel like I'm correct every time, and I always forget one cover. So this was Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, and I'm just gonna print it next time and add it. I'm gonna do a quick little overview. Then I go into my book spreads. The first spread that I did was Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood. I'm obsessed. Just look at this page. I did like a bunch of pictures. I did some quotes. I did one quote over here. I'm obsessed with doing book spreads every month. I look forward to this. I love doing a book spread, an audiobook, a movie, YouTube, whatever. I love it. Then I did one for Beg, Borrow, or Steal. Also so cute. I printed some quotes from Pinterest and some photos as well. For this one, I did a full paper, book paper background because they're both writers. They both write books, and I thought that would be a cute little detail. So I just have a book specifically for book journaling that I can rip out pages. It's just a book that I thrifted for like $1. I'm obsessed with making book spreads. If you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend. Then I just did my March title page and TBR. So for the title page, I just did something quick. I wanted to do a lot of pastels, bright colors. I added the prompts from the TBR video. That is my TBR. I haven't done my March wrap-up page. That's going to be in my next video, but that is what my reading journal looks like so far. This is what it looks like 2 months into the year, and I'm getting scared I'm not gonna have enough space for the whole year. I mean, that's crazy. Look at that. That's only 2 months. I can't wait to see what it looks like all complete. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. We talked about the books that I read in the month of February. We talked about my reading journal updates. I showed you my book spreads. I also gave you guys a book haul. So a little bit of everything. I'm curious to know if you guys want to see anything else in my monthly reading reports. Is there anything else you would like to see at the end of the month? I feel like I have a little bit of everything, but is there anything else you would like to see at the end of the month for me? But yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what your favorite book this month was. I'm curious to see what your favorite books were, and I'll see you next time. Bye.